It's nice as a dad when your kids do something great. You feel proud of them or proud for them, as the politically correct parenting classes teach us these days. And when they do something wrong but recover, you support them and encourage them. But I guess US President Joe Biden has learned to have pretty low expectations of his son Hunter. Because when Joe Biden had to face the reality this week that Hunter was pleading guilty to tax crimes and a gun possession charge, his response was, "I'm very proud of my son." Not just proud, but very proud. Wow. Okay, that sends a terrific parental message to the children of the nation. Go forth and become a crack addict, take prostitutes, commit tax and gun crimes. Make your parents proud. Remember when the President of the United States was a father figure for the nation? Remember the good old days when we actually had respect for the traditional role of the father? The archetype of the strong parent. And I guess it could be either gender, no judgment here, but the father archetype, the parent who is responsible for pushing you out into the world, gently and supportively moving you forward, ready to catch you when you fall, but also making you stand up again on your own 2 feet and rediscover your courage. Those were the days.
Change in America begins at the dinner table. So tomorrow night in the kitchen, I hope the talking begins. And children, if your parents haven't been teaching you what it means to be an American, let them know and nail them on it. That would be a very American thing to do.
Those were the days. So what just happened? Well, Hunter Biden, the president's son, has been under investigation for 5 years for tax and paperwork charges related to a handgun purchase. 2 counts of willful failure to pay federal income tax, as well as 1 count of a possession of a firearm by a person who is a drug user, something that Hunter admitted in his autobiography, but not on the paperwork when he got his gun license. On Tuesday, he made a plea deal with the federal prosecutors. Hunter would plead guilty to the tax crimes and go on probation over the gun charge, thereby avoiding any jail time. The deal still has to be approved by a federal judge, however. The far left-wing cable news channel MSNBC in the US interviewed President Biden back in May in what PR people call a preemptive strike interview. The idea being that when you know bad news is coming, you get out ahead of it and you shape the narrative as favorably as you can for yourself. You do this by going to the most friendly media outlet you can find. And boy, were MSNBC being good little Democrat Party spin doctors that day.
Sir, there is something personal that's affecting you. Your son, while there's no ties to you, could be charged by your Department of Justice. How will that impact your presidency?
First of all, my son's done nothing wrong. I trust him. I have faith in him. And it impacts my presidency by making me feel proud of him.
Proud. And my son's done nothing wrong. Okay. And they say Donald Trump tells lies, reshapes reality, and is enabled by a cable TV news network? Seriously? If you're not familiar with the Hunter Biden laptop story, and why would you be? Everyone except Rupert Murdoch's New York Post and its Australian senior reporter Miranda Devine buried the story to protect Biden in the lead up to the US 2020 presidential election. And given how close that election was, it's not unfair to say that Trump would have won had that news been properly reported. So just maybe Trump supporters are right to be a little angry, and the protest by his most passionate supporters on January 6, 2021 at the White House, while very naughty, was at least understandable. Unless you're still buying the spin that it was an insurrection. But we aren't falling for that here. Anyway, the short of it is that on the laptop were emails and photos that pointed to a pretty sordid kind of lifestyle, and one that involved money being paid and funneled, allegedly, to the Bidens in return for some kind of political favoritism when Joe Biden was vice president in the Barack Obama administration. Commentator Dan Bongiorno this week pointed out that it's not the Biden brand that the Democrats are working overtime to protect here, it's the Obama brand. In May, a special committee released some pretty bad findings relating to all of that. In fact, it was 5 days after that preemptive strike MSNBC interview that this news broke. Not only has Biden only been charged with minor crimes, it seems nothing more serious will be forthcoming. which is kind of weird.